Welcome to Excel Your Accounts Receivables. This brief video will show you examples of how Excel Your AR can be used to help simplify and organize your accounts receivable collection efforts. To begin, let's select the dashboard. The dashboard should be visited every day to plan and organize your receivables collection efforts. The dashboard shows all past due invoices that we are actively seeking to collect and the dates and amounts related to the invoice. The follow-up date is the date we should contact the customer again about this invoice if it has not been paid. In this example, we see that Eagle Plywood should have been contacted 3 days ago. If the days past follow-up cell is red, that indicates we missed our follow-up date and we should contact the customer as soon as possible. The invoices showing a 0 in the days past follow-up column are the invoices we should follow up with today. In this example, we see that there are 3 companies we should contact today: Anderson, Anchorage Yamaha, and Art Concepts. Invoices showing negative numbers in the days past follow-up column tells us how many days until you should contact the customer based on the follow-up date for this invoice. In this example, we see that Eagle's Nest should be contacted tomorrow, and so on. Let's contact Eagle Plywood and Door. Simply double-click on the customer's name on the dashboard. The top part of this screen shows us the contact information for the customer. Below that we see information about this invoice, such as the invoice number, invoice date and the due date, and the current follow-up date for this invoice. Below that we see the date and notes related to our AR collection efforts for this invoice. I suggest you use some common abbreviations when entering contact notes, such as LVM for left voicemail and TT for talk to. You can find the list of some suggestions on the Excel Your Account Receivables website. We decide to call the customer. We don't need to hunt for the customer's contact information because it is right on our screen. We call the customer, who apologizes and promises to transfer the money into our bank account as soon as possible. We can easily update our collection efforts for this invoice by double-clicking on the symbol to the left of the invoice number. Here we will enter a brief description of our collection efforts and update the follow-up date. Now the customer's account is updated with the new follow-up date and a comment we entered regarding our collection efforts. Now we will contact Anderson Incorporated about their past due account. Again, Excel Your Account Receivables shows the customer contact information and notes from our previous collection efforts for this invoice. In this case, we see a second invoice for this customer that is also past due. We called the customer, and they stated both invoices will now be paid in the 20th. We can update the collection notes for both invoices at the same time by double-clicking the symbol to the left of the invoice number. This will enter the same comment and follow-up date for all open invoices for this customer. As you see, both invoices have the new follow-up date and contact notes. Now let's go back to the dashboard. We just received notice that Alpha Graphics Print Shop's wire payment has been received. We can now mark the invoice as closed in Excel Your Account Receivables by double-clicking on the C to the right of this invoice. From the main menu, select the Customer History button, and from there select the customer you wish to view. This shows you all the collection activity for this customer by invoice. If this customer happened to have any outstanding invoices, those would be shown first, followed by all closed invoices for this customer. Now, let's return to the main menu, where I can show you the process of adding a new customer in Excel Your Accounts Receivables. On the main menu, simply select Enter a new customer. This can also be accomplished from the dashboard. However, since we are at the main menu, let's do it from here. Press the Enter a New Customer button. On this screen, we can enter a new customer. We will enter the customer's contact information on this screen. Only a customer name is required for you to create a new customer. However, I strongly suggest you complete this information. This will make it very easy when contacting customers. The fax and website fields can be renamed and used for other information. For instance, renaming the fax field to salesperson if you want to keep track of the salesperson responsible for this account. The general info field can be used to add any other information that is specific to this customer. For example, if the customer is closed on Fridays, you could note it here. In this case, I will add the customer's accounting manager name and contact information, since I have that information, and it may come in handy in the future, such as if our main contact is out of town on vacation. If you are just entering the customer for future use, you can uncheck this box. For this example, I will leave it checked to show you the process of entering information for an invoice that has become past due. I will now enter an invoice into Excel Your Account Receivables which has become past due, and we are reaching out to the customer regarding the invoice. Enter the invoice number, related dates, and the invoice amount. You will also enter the notes regarding your first collection efforts on for this invoice.